Hi there, welcome to Teen Time. My name is Terry and I'm from St. Mark's DC Church and I'm with these lovely ladies here. Ladies, can you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Grace, I'm 13 and I'm from St. Mark's, DC.
Hi, I'm Helen, I'm 15 and I'm from St. Mark's, DC.
Hi, I'm Nardine, I'm 14 and I'm from Virgin Mary and St. Bartholomew's Church.
Hi, I'm Juliana, I'm 14 and I'm from St. Mark's, DC.
Right, thanks for being here today, ladies. So today we're talking about the topic or the phrase, never thin enough. So what do you guys think of when you hear that phrase?
Girls normally that think like they're too fat, like normally at like our age, they're just like, oh, I need to lose weight, I need to be like those skinny like girls, because like those are the ones that are like the most popular and have like the most friends.
Yeah, or like Helen said, like at our age, like you're changing, so like you feel like you're like too fat and stuff, and you compare yourself to other people, and you're like, oh, maybe if I'm thin, then they will like me, and I'll be popular and happy and stuff.
I think it's definitely like we're using society as a guideline to what we should be like. So it says, oh, well, you're supposed to be like this, and we say, okay, like that's kind of my rule book for how I'm gonna like live my life, and I don't think like that's like the right way to live your life.
When I think like of never thin enough, I think of like someone who's like thin, well not thin, sorry, like they can be thin and like still think like, oh, I need to get even more thinner, or it can just be like an overweight person who thinks, oh, I need to be thinner so I can look like this person and so I can be like popular and things like that.
There's always like a constant comparison that we make with ourselves, right? We're always comparing ourselves to the other girls or to the people on TV or to even the people in our family. Like maybe our body type is just different than other people in our family. I agree. So do you think that girls feel this pressure, and if so, from where and why?
Like for example, like a model or something, like they're skinny and they're like small, so like this is like how you should look like if you're wearing something like that. And for me, like I look at it, there's like normal size, there's like plus size. So like they have plus size models, but they're still like in a different category. So like you don't want to be a part of like that like larger size.
Yeah, and like kind of like what she was saying, like from models and like other like outside like beauty influencers, and like even the mannequins, like when you walk into the mall, even the mannequins are like the thin mannequins that are like wearing the clothes and stuff, and you're like, oh, those clothes will never look like that on me because like I don't look like that.
Yeah, I don't have that body type. Like no, I feel like only the 1% of the population has that body type.
Yeah.
So.
I think in society too, it's even just like the people that we walk past and we're like, oh wow, like she looks nice in what she's wearing because of like what her body looks like.
Yeah, and sometimes I even think like, sometimes I'm just scrolling through Pinterest or Instagram or something, and I see like a certain outfit or look that I like, and I'm like, oh man, it won't look good on me because I don't have that body type or whatever. Yeah, I definitely agree. So why do you think as a community or a culture, we're so concerned with this idea of being skinny? And like, sometimes I feel like it's just like an addiction we have almost, that like as a society, as a community, we're just like, we're always trying to lose weight. We're always trying to eat healthier. We're always trying to do all these things to make ourselves like thinner, or because we've gained a few pounds. What do you guys think?
Because we're always so like used to comparing ourselves to everyone, so we're never going to be happy with like how we truly are, because there's always going to be somebody that's like skinnier than us, or like has something that we like that like we don't have, that like we just can't change.
And I think that like society has like kind of painted a picture for us of what the perfect like person or perfect girl looks like, and we always try to look like that even though we can't, and like it's not really healthy for you to do that, and we always try to do that because like we want to fit in with other people.
I feel like the people who are like naturally skinnier, like I'm a naturally like thinner person, I don't like appear like I'm gaining weight or anything, or I don't like my body type, it doesn't appear to change, but that doesn't mean like that I'm looking to become thinner. It doesn't mean that I try to like be thinner. Some people, I feel like it's just the way that their body naturally is made, so it's not always that like, oh, like she's trying hard to do this, or oh, like they're trying to work on this because society says that. It could be also that you know, like they're just naturally made that way. It's not like they're trying to do anything, but that's how they're made.
Yeah, and then sometimes people might say, "Oh, you're trying to diet," or "Oh, like you're so skinny," or whatever, like you say, like.
And I feel like also like thin people, like we're like, oh, like we, like people who are looking to be skinnier, they're like, oh, like I need to stop gaining and I need to do this, but you know, like when it comes to being thin, then it's also like, oh, like where does all that food go? Or oh, like when you see people that you haven't seen in a while that go, oh, you need to gain weight, or like something like that.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the Egyptian culture. It's like you can never satisfy like the cultural, I don't know, idea. Some people are like, oh, you really are so skinny, you have to gain weight, and then when you do, they're like, oh my gosh, you gained so much weight, you have to lose weight. Like there's never a happy medium, right?
And also, like what you were saying, like why people want to be skinny is because, like, for me, I think it's because, like, you see all those, like, celebrities and stuff and all those famous people, and they're, like, going to the gym, which is, like, good, but, like, they're always, like, weight loss and stuff, and you never see, like, celebrities that are, like, not
Bigger?
skinny or like stuff like that, so you kind of want to be like them because you want to like fit in with them too.
I feel like that's what really gets people. It's not that they try to they try to work on a healthier lifestyle maybe for themselves. I don't think that's bad, and I don't think like it's like bad to do things like that and like become skinny. But I feel like it just comes to the point where like even if you are naturally skinny, you're like, oh, like I use this like detox tea or something. I think that's where it really gets people. Are like, well, now she's just trying to like convince people that they should be using it to lose weight. So like people take it as, oh, like she's telling me that I'm not skinny enough or something like that, or I should be using this.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like if you want to be skinny, like, there's, like, a difference, like, a right and wrong reason. Like, the right reason, I guess, would be, like, for your health. Like, you don't want to be, like, overweight and, like, have, like, health problems in the future, but, like, you don't want to just be skinny just to be skinny and, like, have, like, no purpose. Like, if you're already, like, healthy, you don't want to, like, damage your body, like, over just, like, how you look.
Yeah, and if you want to, like Helen was saying, like right and wrong ways, even if you're not happy with the way you look, you can try to like lose weight in a healthy way instead of like some people like starve themselves and stuff, or like they don't eat anything because they think it's gonna make them skinny.
Or like crazy diets or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, like, change your diet in, like, one day and expect to feel, like, super, like, energized and, like, healthy, like, the next, so.
Yeah, it has to be balanced, definitely. I totally agree. I think as well, yeah, society sometimes places really unrealistic, I'd say goals on like people in general. So I have a quote here and it says, "Society has created this idea of perfection that no one can achieve, but everyone tries to." Let's discuss this statement. Why do you think everyone is trying to achieve this image if it's unattainable? From my own opinion, even skinny people think sometimes that they need to lose weight or that they need to change something about their body.
Because, like, for some reason, like, the definition of, like, beautiful is skinny. So it's, like, no matter, like, what you do, like, you just, like, have to be skinny. And, like, some people, like, their bodies, like, can't lose that weight because, like, that's just, like, not, like, their shape, I guess. So it just, like, frustrates them and, like, and then they try to, like, go to, like, the unhealthy ways to do it, which, like, just damages their bodies.
And even when you see models that are like plus size and stuff, people are always like, oh, like she's a plus size model, and they're like not as like accepting to it or whatever. So like their standard for beauty is a skinny, like a pretty and stuff like that.
I feel like they do, like they hit harder on people who are like skinny. They're like, oh, like this is what you're supposed to be like, because we've made it look like it's ideal to be like super skinny and to like just be that way like naturally, like even if people are willing to go to like bad roads to do something like that.
Like extremes or whatever. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely agree. Sometimes it can be a really unhealthy road, right? Why do you think girls measure happiness by how they feel about their bodies?
I think that girls do that because they think if they're thin and pretty, then like everything will look good on them. Like some people are like, oh, if I was thin, then this would look good on me. Then everyone would be like, oh, she's so pretty, and then they would like me and stuff like that. But that's just temporary, kind of, because once you're like people will get over it. They're not gonna keep on ranting about how like you're so skinny and everything.
Yeah, I agree with Juliana, like, because, like, for us, like, girls, we look for acceptance from, like, everyone else around us, and if, like, they don't accept, like, oh, what I'm wearing, then, like, they're not gonna like me, so I just keep changing and changing until, like, I satisfy, like, everyone else around me, but, like, in reality, you're not satisfying, like, yourself and, like, making yourself feel happy with your body.
I think there are also the people who are skinny there that tell themselves like they need to like gain weight because they look too skinny, or like there are some people out there who are, you know, they're skinny and they don't like being skinny as much as like everyone else thinks of it. So some people go, oh wow, it seems like amazing to be skinny and stuff. But at the same time, it's like people who are skinny, they want something else. They want to feel like almost, they want to prioritize themselves as normal, and they feel like that the body they're in isn't normal.
That's a great point.
We should have confidence, like, even in our body, whether we're, like, overweight or, like, thin, but our real happiness should come from the heart.
I definitely agree. I think it's really important to remember that like happiness shouldn't come from, you know, the way we look at ourselves in the mirror or the way we look. I think it's hard though as girls because sometimes, like, especially at this age too, like appearance is so important, and like a lot of things are based on it, like the way your friends treat you, the way you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror. So sometimes I think it can be hard to not base your happiness on like how you look and stuff. All right, so another question is, what is the true Christ-like way to measure our feelings of ourselves? Like not just by appearance, but what do you think?
I think that you should love the way that you're made, and if you're healthy, then that means that like you're fine. And even if you want to change something, then you can change it like in a healthy way. Like some people take the easy way out, and they like some girls go and like starve themselves and go extra lengths just to look a certain way when it's not healthy for themselves, and that's not what God wants.
So true.
Yeah, I feel like health should be like the #1 priority. So like I know you should feel like proud of like your body, like however it is, but like if like that's like the problem, then like you could like talk to somebody, like your parents, like they could talk to a doctor, but like taking into your own hands, it's normally like not going to end in like the healthiest situation.
We're supposed to be like letting ourselves know, well, this is the body that I was given by God. Like I should be happy with who I am because this is how God is supposed to see me. But I don't think that there's anything wrong. You know, if you want to change the way you look, not because of how society sees us or like your ideas of what you should be, but just because you want to become like a healthier person, or maybe you want to change the way that you do things to have a better lifestyle.
What about the inside kind of thing? Tell me, like, what do you think God wants us to measure ourselves with?
I think that we're our own like biggest critics. So if you're looking in the mirror and you're just like, oh, you're so fat, you're so like nobody likes you because you're fat, then you're just like destroying no but like you're just like kind of destroying yourself like on the inside. And God wants you to be happy with yourself. Like he wants you to, because like you're still young, and he doesn't want you to be like so like depressed and stuff. So like you have to like remind yourself that like that God still loves you and stuff. Either way.
May I add to that as well? I'm just wondering, why do you think God wants us to be happy, like with ourselves? Like, what does he care if we're happy with ourselves, or if we're not happy with ourselves? Like, what?
Because like he made us like by hand, like in the perfect like image. So like us not being happy with it is kind of like we're not satisfied with how God made us. But if we're like ruining ourselves, like eating so much and like becoming like obese, like that's just like ruining like the way that God created us. So but, like trying to become like even skinnier, that's like also destroying it. So like the way like God creates us should be like the way that we should like feel proud of ourselves.
Yeah.
Especially that people, like, God doesn't want to see that the people he created are being hard on themselves. Like, like Juliana was saying, like we're our hardest critics. Whatever we notice and whatever we like accentuate is what people are going to notice. And he probably doesn't like seeing us beating down on ourselves because he likes us how we are, but it's like not okay that we're doing things to ourselves just to look a certain way.
Yeah, and what like Helen said before, like God made us in his image. So if we're saying like, oh, I don't like the way I look, then we're literally saying like, oh, I don't like the way that like Christ made me in his image, let me change it. And then you're just spoiling everything.
I think that's such an amazing point because we have to remember, like, we are made in the image of God, right? And he's the one who, like, handcrafted us, like you were saying. He's the one who really shaped us, really defined us, and he loves us because, like, we're his kids. So I think it's so, so, so important that we remember that. Do you think the desire to be thinner is coming from a deeper desire to be accepted or loved by friends or society? And explain why you think so.
Honestly, yeah, like it's not just off of what we're seeing. You know, seeing is one thing, but really believing it is another. Like you can see something and it may not faze you, like, oh, like look at her, she's like so skinny or she's not. If that doesn't faze you, then that's up to you that like I'm okay with it. But if you're letting yourself take it in as a what I'm doing is wrong or how the way I am is wrong, that's like it really varies the playing field.
Yeah, I think it's definitely based on a like inner desire to fit in because like naturally you want to fit in, like you want to follow the crowd, so you want to look like everyone else, and that everyone else is skinny.
So what do you think would happen if all of a sudden a certain person in school just started not caring about what they ate, just ate whatever, started getting bigger and bigger and bigger? What do you think would happen to them, and what do you think they would happen to the way people treated them?
Well, for me, like at school, like you can notice, like if somebody's like, I guess like overweight, everyone kind of like gives them a weird look or like talks about them behind their back. And like after a while, like the person starts to notice and makes them like feel like really bad about themselves. So
That's really terrible.
yeah.
I think it's like a really dehumanizing thing to do. Like you're talking about someone else behind like their back. Like you're talking about them as if they're not human, as if they don't feel things. I think the biggest thing wouldn't be the concern for, oh, like look at how big she is, rather than how is she doing, like how is she feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody cares about the story behind like what's going on.
Well, for me, it's like, this is like kind of weird, but I have a friend at school, and she used to be like really skinny. Like last year, she was so skinny and thin, and then she just kept on like eating and eating whatever, and then out of nowhere, like she got pretty big, and then like everyone started liking her because she wasn't as thin anymore.
Wow.
I don't even know why, but like because everyone strives to be like her, but I guess. I don't even know why, but like she got like bigger and it was noticeable, but like everyone started like being her friend more, and like I really did not understand.
It could have been though that like they valued the fact that she didn't care about standards of being skinny. She goes, well, I don't want to be like that. Like you talk about being skinny, well, I think about like, you know, like that doesn't matter. Being skinny isn't everything, and I'd rather be like the way I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Or the fact that she just didn't really care what other people thought, like what you said.
Wow, that's really cool because it kind of turns around the whole like mentality, right? And sometimes I think that people as well, like this is just my opinion, and you can tell me what you think, but sometimes I feel like when I look at a person and they've lost so much weight, I just feel like, wow, they're really, really skinny. I liked them better before when they were like, they had more meat on their bones and stuff like that. I don't know what you guys think, but have you ever experienced that where you see someone and you've seen kind of both comparisons where at one point they were so skinny, at another point they were like gained a lot of weight or had like more meat on their bones or whatever? Like, what did that seem to you, or how did that seem to you?
Well, like, because normally when that happens, it's like so like fast. You're just like, oh, there must be like something wrong. Like, why are they like going from like super skinny to like having like so much weight, or like the other way around? And then like you think to yourself like, oh, like are they like not happy with themselves, or like what's going on with their situation?
So you're kind of questioning, okay, like something's happening in their life that
Yeah.
must be contributing to this.
When they get like from like more like bigger to like more thinner, I think like wow, like good for them. Like they're able to do this.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I think when I first see them. Like
No, that's valid. That's yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you. What do you think God thinks about being thin or being skinny or just weight in general?
I feel like he like still loves us, and he doesn't matter if we're like more like fatter or if we're like more skinny. He just loves us the way we are because he made us in his own image.
I agree.
Well, God doesn't measure your worth on your size because he made you and he loves you either way. So it's not going to matter whether you're fat or whether you're skinny. God still loves you.
Society measures us a lot different than God does. We see it as, oh, well, like they're the same thing. They'll be happier if I'm like this or if I'm this certain way or, you know. But it comes down to like the reality that, well, God doesn't really care much of what you look like. He cares more of like who you are inside. And I think society's been trying more to put that out, like stop caring about comparisons and stop caring about like what you look like and stop beating down on yourself, because that's not what people are looking for and that's not what's helping you in life.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up because sometimes we forget about the positive aspect. Like, people are trying to make awareness about like it's okay if you're not skinny. Like it's not the end of the world and things like that. All right, we're gonna take a short break and we'll be right back. Hi there, welcome back to Teen Time. So today we're talking about the phrase "never thin enough," and we're talking a little bit about okay, what does society say about trying to be thin? What does God say about being thin? So we talked a little bit about both, and I kind of wanted to ask you guys, how do you think God measures our beauty or worth? Like we talked about, okay, yeah, he definitely doesn't measure it by our size, but what does he measure it by?
Like the inside and like how we treat people and like how we show like his love towards others.
Our interactions, definitely our interactions with the other people that he's made in his image. So we say that we're all made in his image. So how do we talk to people who we're all supposed to respect, or else we're disrespecting God that way?
Definitely.
By our actions and the things that we like say and do.
Definitely. And might I add also as well, I feel like he also measures us like he created us as a soul, a body, spirit, right? So I feel like the body, it's important, but us as a whole is so important. So like you're saying, the actions, the way we deal with people, and the way we take care of ourselves, like, but the whole person is so important. I think that God really measures us by, and it's so easy sometimes to focus on maybe just one aspect, but it's really important that we focus on the whole aspect. Now, another question I had was that in the Bible, some people were compared for like the way they looked. And one person I was thinking of was David. And I was just wondering, do you think we can discuss a little bit, like how did people look at him and how did God look at him? Like what were the differences there?
Because like he was like the smallest one of like all his brothers, but like in like the end he was like the most like spiritual and like the most like prepared to like receive like to like become like the king.
Yeah, and God saw him as like the most pure and the most like Helen said, prepared. And like, but when they came to like see him, they were like, oh, like, what? Because he was so like small and stuff, not like his other brothers.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but like if I saw like a row of boys and one of them is like really strong and like looks very handsome and whatever, and then I see like a tiny little kid who's like like he looks like a kid, like he doesn't really look like somebody who can really lead people, right? I would definitely be like, God, what are you doing? Like this is a bad idea. What do you guys think?
I mean, I feel like also, you know, like he was seen as he was seen as the weakest of them all, and he goes, what, like this guy, he's gonna be the one that's like next in line. Like I feel like people were like, oh, that's like such a joke. Like just look at him, and he proved to be like the one that was the most worthy out of every single one of them.
Definitely. I definitely think so.
Even though he was small, he was still like a really good king. Even though like they thought like, oh, he can't like rule, like he'd be really bad. He's too small. He doesn't understand. But he actually did.
Definitely. And it is so easy for us as humans to focus on the appearance and to focus on the outside, because that's really all we see at first glance, right? I look at you, I see like the color of your hair, the color of your skin, I see your shape, see your size. I look in the mirror for myself, I see my shape and size, and that's kind of all I see. But then when I get to know you, when I talk to you, when I experience like what you're like, then I can actually dig deeper, right? And I think that God really loves to dig deeper, and he loves to look inside of a person and see, okay, I'm not just looking at your outside, I'm looking at your heart. Another thing I wanted to mention too was kind of an opposite example. And I don't know if you guys know the story of Absalom. This is David's son. So in the Bible, it says that he was so good looking and just such a very refined, like beautiful looking person, very handsome, very athletic, everything. And also like a funny detail that the Bible mentions is that his hair grew so long every year, and he would cut it and it would weigh like so much, like such thick, luscious hair for a man. Besides the point, but at the same time, like if you look at his life, he was not a good person at all. He didn't do the things that God he didn't follow God's commandments. He was just a very not a nice person. He betrayed his father, he killed his brother, and all these things, right? So even though he was just a very amazing looking person from the outside, great credentials for a king, right? Like you want a king that's good looking, obviously. But what do you guys think? Like, how do you think that he compared to David?
Because I feel like people prioritize more about like the appearance, but like they never really like actually dig deeper into like a person's like personality and like how they like actually qualify for like what they're trying to like become. But like, because like David didn't really look like somebody that would be a king, but like at the end of the day, he was like the best like option.
Yeah, and people judge you by your appearance. So if you look like beautiful and stuff like that, then they'll approach you and try to dig deeper. But if you don't, like now, like I see this all the time at school. If there's someone new and she's not really skinny, she's not like qualified as the beautiful image that society has put out, then people won't like try to approach her and see like what she's like and stuff. Like they won't try to be her friend. They'll just be like, oh, okay.
I think David and his son are the best example that standards mean absolutely nothing when it comes down to it. Like society-wise too, you could seem one way, you could look one way. That means absolutely nothing in life. And the way you look doesn't mean anything. It doesn't hold value the way that, oh, like I'm skinnier than everyone else, or, oh, you know, like I don't fit standards because I don't see myself as skinny.
So true. I think that's such an important thing to remember. Like, God really looks at the heart, and that's really the thing that matters. I think one other thing I wanted to mention, I think this is a little bit of a funny example, but I know that like as a teen you don't really think about this, but like you know when you get married and like when you start having kids and stuff, you know how women we always focus on, okay, we have to be skinny, we have to lose weight. But when you have kids, you're not going to be skinny. You're going to gain weight, you're going to get a belly. Like that's just normal kind of thing, right? And I think that sometimes I think that, okay, maybe God designed it that way so that like we don't focus so much on our shape and our size, because maybe the weight will never go away after that or whatever, right? It's like we're always so preoccupied with weight and size. So what do you think? Do you agree that God like kind of maybe he put that in us so that we could like kind of let go of that preoccupation with weight, or what do you think?
I agree. There's definitely like a deeper purpose than to just like have like the weight gained. So like it's just like a time to like get it like off like your chest. Like it doesn't need to always be like skinny 100% of the time.
Yeah,
like
and
that's not important.
Sorry. And I think that like when you're a teenager, like we are right now, you're still like so kind of self-conscious, and like you think you notice tiny stuff more, but like when you're older, you're not gonna be worrying about like your weight and stuff. You're not gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat. This doesn't look good on me, this and this. So
Yeah, you have other things to worry about, basically.
yeah.
You don't really have to, you're not really thinking about, oh, what is my friend going to say when I show up at work or whatever. Like, it's just normal after that.
I feel like it's kind of just like an example of like stop worrying about what you look like or stop judging yourself, because you're only harming yourself, you know, like you're putting yourself in a place where you're telling yourself that what you look like isn't okay. And it's not that, oh, like I'm trying to be healthier. It's like, oh, well, I don't match standards, so I need to fix that. And you should be happy with what you look like.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely easier said than done, but it's definitely true.
Definitely.
One more thing I wanted to kind of adjust with you guys is there's a healthy way to kind of lose weight and be healthy, and there's an unhealthy way. Can you kind of mention both of what you've seen and what you know in society and in your daily lives?
Well, like an example of this is I know someone and she's already pretty skinny, like she's healthy and she was everything, but then she decided to she wanted to get skinnier, so then she stopped eating, or she would eat only maybe a salad for the whole day or something, and just drink water the whole day. And then she got sick and she had to go to the hospital and take a lot of medicine and stuff, so she's still trying to recover right now. And she was already skinny to start with, but she decided that she wanted to be even more skinnier.
I think positively wise, I've seen a lot of things where it's you're trying to gain an idea of being healthier. That doesn't mean you need to necessarily starve yourself, but here's options of, if you're trying to not lose calories or anything like that, but to eat something that benefits more towards you, it's change the portions of what you're eating. And it doesn't mean eat something smaller or eat something that's bigger in size. It's just what am I eating more of, or what am I deducting wise, but you're still eating the same amount, so you're not losing what you eat, so you're not starving yourself, you're just modifying how you eat.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely a healthy option, modifying, trying not to starve yourself, because that's definitely not a healthy way. What do you guys think?
For an example in my life, my dad, a while ago, he wasn't very healthy, and after a while, the doctors telling him he needs to lose weight and stuff, he lost weight in the healthier way, and at the end of the day now he's healthy and he's happy, so he didn't have to go through the hard way of not eating enough, but changing the diet to something to give him the proper nutrients.
And I'm sure it didn't take a very short time. It probably took,
and it took a lot of hard work. So.
Yeah, so the good things come with hard work. That's what we want to learn.
Probably another healthy thing is eating greens or fruits, but also eating other food, but that's protein and healthy for you, and not if you're thin, and not getting more thin, because it could lead to sickness, which is very unhealthy and not good for you.
Yeah, and definitely eating good things instead of junk food is so much better.
I think also it's healthiest to stop looking at people and stop thinking, oh, well, what if I was like this? You should be more focused on, it doesn't matter if you're skinny or if you're not, if you're more on the plus side or if you're not. Either way, this, for both types, it's stop looking at people who are another way and start focusing on, oh, that doesn't matter to me. Because the more you let it affect you, the harder it becomes on you. And I think it's more unhealthy for you to keep thinking this way.
Yeah, and I think it's important to replace the old ways rather than to cut them out in general. So it's important to change what you're doing instead of maybe not eating to eat something healthier.
Yeah, also a healthy way is to work out, or maybe do a sport or something, or go to the gym, so you're being more healthy and stuff, and you're burning more calories instead of just not eating and not getting any.
So true. I love the conversation we're having. We're going to take another short break and we'll be right back. Hi there, welcome back to Teen Time. So today we were talking about trying to be thin and feeling like you're never thin enough. We talked about different pressures that we feel as girls. We talked about, like, okay, maybe we look at ourselves and we're unhappy sometimes, but how does God see us? How does God see our inside? How does God see our outside? And what does he think about both? We talked a little bit about, like, okay, what's the healthy way to lose weight? What's the unhealthy way, and all these things. And just in case we didn't mention it before, sometimes if you are feeling like you are feeling a lot of anxiety because of food, or you are not, you're not really eating healthy, you're not really eating at all, you're starving yourself, or you're throwing up after meals, this could be a sign of an eating disorder. And I would encourage you, please try to see a professional or speak to an adult you trust, because you shouldn't take it that lightly. You should really go make sure you find some help, and they can help you find the help that you need. It's really important that you take care of yourself as well. Now, just to conclude, I wanted to share a few verses with you. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 says, "Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and you are not your own?" I love that verse. Like, that's one of my really favorite verses, because it just reminds us that, okay, we're not just the body. Like, as Christians, we have the Holy Spirit inside of us, and we have to protect this temple. Like, this is not a joke. Like, we got to make sure that we're taking care of our bodies, we're taking care of our souls and spirits, like, because we're entrusted with this very precious gift of the Holy Spirit. And I don't know what you guys think, but when I read that, it kind of makes me kind of straighten up a little bit and be like, oh, wow, I have to really, like, be serious about who I am and what I do for myself. What do you guys think? What just say, like, a short thought about what you think when you hear that verse.
Well, like the temple of God, I think of like the holiest of the holies, so like should be like most like perfect place like ever. So like that's how you should like keep your body.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think of like you only get one body and you only get one life, so you shouldn't spend that whole time like comparing yourself to other people and saying like, oh, let me like do this and that so I can be more thin.
Mm-hmm.
I think also we talk about things that are so much easier to talk about. Oh, like don't do this with your body because it's not technically your body. Like you're holding like your spirit in it, and you're like supposed to be holding God in your like body. So we like say, oh, like you can't do this with your body, or like you're not supposed to be doing this with your body because of the way we see it. And I feel like this is the exact same thing. Like don't be starving your body, or don't be trying to do things with your body because like you're hurting your spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not only your body but your spirit. I agree. Any other thoughts?
I also wanted to add on to Nardine. So I liked how she was saying like that you should like be good to your body and not eat unhealthy things, and also you should think that whether you're fat or skinny, you're still beautiful in God's eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Like God created us, right? And He doesn't take that lightly. Like He doesn't create junk. Like He creates beautiful things. So we always have to remember we're beautiful in God's sight. I love that you said that. Another verse I wanted to share was Ephesians 5:30. "For we are members of His body, of His flesh, and of His bones." And again, just an amazing verse, because when I hear that, I'm like, again, I straighten up a bit and I'm like, okay, wow, I'm not just a random person. I'm a part of God's body. I'm a part of Christ's bone and Christ's flesh, and that's a big thing. I should not take that lightly. Last verse to share is 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." And I think that's a beautiful way to kind of conclude everything that we're talking about, because like God created the outward appearance, but He also created the heart. And the heart is so much more important than the outward appearance. And we really have to remember to focus on that, and to focus on like making our insides beautiful, not just our outside. Thanks again, ladies, so much for sharing your thoughts and conversing with us about this topic. And thank you for joining us for Teen Time. We'll see you next time.